Why? Hello and welcome everybody. Also good morning. So today I wanted to go ahead and introduce you guys to my 0.5 League Start build, which is a Permafrost Frag Rounds Witchhunter. Now there's a lot to get into, so we're just going to start by popping up the Mobalytics guide, brief you through it, then I'm going to do a showcase on my endgame character, then I'm going to show you kind of how it is in the campaign. So let's get started. So this is the character I played from last league. I played this character exclusively in SSF. Right here is a little disclaimer of what's gotten changed. The build's gotten, I'd say, slightly nerfed. Pretty much most builds got nerfed in this patch, but nothing that like breaks the character. For people who did play it, there is one big change, which is Eternal Rage can no longer be in both weapon sets, but there's a new base type amulet, so I think that kind of cancels each other out, so not a problem. Now this build comes with snapshots of every section in the campaign. Not everything is going to be perfect, as it was my first time playing it, but we straight up have Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, Act 4, Interlude, Early Mapping, Red Maps, Sorkward Swap, and Constricting Command. Constricting Command is the one unique item that brings a lot of this build together. It's not terribly hard to acquire unless they massively nerf the drop rate of it, but very, very, very good piece. It allows us to use our surrounding nodes on the tree, which scale very well. Now this build, I will say, is a little slow in Act 1 and 2, but really comes together in Act 3, and you can use the skills right away, as Permafrost and Fragmentation rounds are basically level 1 skills. For people who need extra assistance and tips, please make sure to read some of the extra information in here, such as how to get more boss damage, campaign rewards, weapon swap, and we'll just go on. This build also utilizes tech where we fire with left and right click. We don't have reload in between. So if you look, left click, right click, left click, right click, left click, you get the drift, right? You can set this up by following the weapon swap tech on that guide, or if you're in my stream, you can just use the reload command and it will show you how to do it. It is a little buggy in the campaign. You have to redo it every time you die. It only takes like 5 seconds though. But nonetheless, let's go jump into a map. Now this is my endgame SSF character. You can see the snapshot on there. So I am going to have expensive equipment on. This is just part of how progression works, right? One of the key notables here of expensive items is Rockiata's Flow. I will remove this in another map, so I'll just do a quick demonstration here to show you in a juiced out Citadel. I don't know what the tree is right now because they just merged us, so things are kind of weird. Do I really want this? I don't want corruption. Let me switch corruption off. Let me see real fast.
You did well in that excursion. What is it? I've got a different idea.
Refund Atlas. Alright, we'll just go with that. Alright. We have a stone citadel here. Is it stone citadel? Yeah, stone. Okay. And we're gonna slap in this juicer of a map here. Surely the boss doesn't literally just one-shot me. Let's go ahead and get started. Now, with this character, the reason I prefer Witchhunter is you get this nice abundance of Sorkward. This is getting slightly nerfed in the patch in the late game. We are getting buffs to evasion, but even through the evasion buffs, it'll be slightly nerfed. So you can imagine this at like 5,400. It's not going to be anything that crazy. Now the build is pretty simple when it comes to clear. You've got left and right click. You occasionally tap your freezing mark, and on bosses, you hit Thunderstorm. That's pretty much it. So if you want bonus damage, mark first, shoot. That triggers a long duration freezing mark for you, but you don't have to do it all the time. It's just, if you're on like weak gear, I would say, it's definitely worth doing it for an extra multiplier. This build thrives in maps where there's a lot of hallways or walls because we basically ricochet. The ricochet is really, really nice. It actually can ×2 your damage. Also, if you notice, we are completely immune to chilled ground. This is one of the perks of being on this bottom side of the tree. The only thing that, well, I mean, there are stuff that slow us, but not having to worry about chilled ground is a big pro for me. You'll notice on some rares, they're going to be full HP and they just evaporate. That is because we are leaning in on our fragmentation round to consume freezes to get big damage. That's kind of like how the focus of the build works. This build does not need to use Origin's Metal. You can use it if you want, although it was nerfed. So all the showcase you're seeing here is without Origins. So here's a rare. Where did he go? Is that dead already? Oh, here's a rare. So he's frozen, right click, and then they die. I don't actually know where I'm going in this map. Okay, here we go. So our rotation, we're going to freezing mark, we're going to thunderstorm, we're going to hold left click, Then we're gonna right click on the frag rounds. Okay. So now that the target's frozen, you're gonna notice we get 3 buffs. We got bonus fire from Thunderstorm, we got bonus damage from Freezing Mark, and we have our Batir's Vengeance, which will just be Ice Bite 3. All 3 of these multipliers are going to make your frag round chunk. From here, you proc Shard Scavenger, which lets you not consume bolts, and you can just hold down your left click. Now, unfortunately, this guy does have boss mechanics and phases, so we just have to wait for him to phase. Alright, here we go. Now we can shoot again. So, again, what we're going to do here is we're going to wait a little bit on this freeze. Then we're going to detonate with right click, and if Shard Scavenger procs, you want to hold down your left click. So you can see Shard Scavenger there, so we're getting free shots. Now we're going to force another freeze here in a second. We're going to mark. There's the freeze. And then take him out with a right click. So that's pretty much how the boss rotation works. It's very simple to use. It works really well. Now, this build I'm showing you right now is in the bossing version. So it's going to have more damage than the map clear version. So I'm going to respec now to show you the map clear version. And you don't have to do this ping pong, but if you are primarily focusing on bosses, you should respec because it will just help immensely. So I'm just going to refund right here. And I'm going to drop my No Mercy and my Witchbane. And I'm going to go into Zealous Inquisition here, which gives 10% chance to explode. And honestly, I take Culling Strike, but you could just take Witchbane and then it's cheaper to respec. You don't have to do this every time, but it just makes it cheaper. So now for this showcase, I'm going to remove the Rakaitas, and I am simply going to slap in, where's Freeze? Freeze support. And there's other things you can use, but that's just what we're going with right now. So I'll just go put in a Sulfuric Caverns, and we'll go slap in this map here. How bad is it to say No Mercy all the time? I like the Witchhunter explode, but if you want to squeeze extra AoE, you could try like juicing your Herald a little bit more. It's really up to you. I like the Witchhunter explode a lot though. It's really nice. These maps are not juicy enough to justify. Like the character does really well in all League mechanics. The only one I'd say Ritual gets a little spooky when you don't have a good Sork Ward bubble, and the other one that's a little spooky is Delirium because they don't have corpses. Okay, here's a boss fight without our bossing setup. If you get 2 bosses close to each other, you can actually AoE overlap them. So if you check their health right now, you can do that. So that will basically trigger a frag rounds on both targets. And if you look at the verse frozen right now, it's a 2000% pop with all the multipliers. So you actually ×2 that because they both AoE overlap on top of each other. Alright, enough of this character though. This is a pretty endgame character, like I said. It's what we accomplished in SSF. It's using a very good weapon. Although I don't have attack speed on it, attack speed would make it much better. It's not going to be nearly as easy to craft anything like this. So expect the damage to be lower. Again, across all the builds though, that is just a thing. So it's not like crossbows were target nerf. We've got Constricting Command, we've got a Evasion Chest Piece, we've got a really annoying Spirit Amulet. It's T1 Spirit on a Spirit base. Don't need this anymore. In Trade League, you can simply use Yoke of Suffering. I haven't found one in SSF yet. or you can just use the new Eternal Rage base, and then it doesn't even matter what you have on it, and you can instantly use Eternal Rage. So that's another nice thing. This build does hinge very heavily on weapon swapping, but don't worry, it's just built in with left and right click. So if you look here, when we're in our left click mode, we have Eternal Rage active, and when we go right click, you get Berserk and Shard Scavenger. This is so we can manipulate our spirit gain. In the patch, you can't do this with Eternal Rage anymore, but again, it will not matter if you paid attention to the start of the video. This also means you only degen in your second weapon set when you're shooting the frag rounds. But again, that doesn't matter because you're only doing that to detonate, and Shard Scavenger applies to both sets. This makes it so when you consume a freeze, you get to shoot for free infinitely. And as for how the build feels when you're just clearing, if you notice I don't reload too much, that's primarily because we have 30% chance to instantly, or basically not spend ammunition because we reload frequently, and then a 30% chance for the reload to be instant and you don't even notice. And then you can also just right click to proc Shard Scavenger, and you're good to go. All right, enough of the high level character. Let me go ahead and jump on over to my lower level character here. So I made just a private league to test how the character feels in a league start scenario, and it actually feels pretty damn good, I'm not gonna lie. So I did find a really unethical weapon that I went and stashed away intentionally for this showcase because I didn't want to show like with too good of gear. So this is a weapon we're using actually from level 28. We are currently level 47. The weapon is really good for 28. The base damage is lacking now compared to what you can find in other crossbows, but it is still a pretty good weapon nonetheless. This character is not very tanky as I've neglected a lot of my gear. We are also a Witchhunter at the moment. I do recommend leveling as Tactician because you get the supporting fire node, and then in the second lab you can just switch to Witchhunter. I'm currently running Obsessive Rituals. I don't even really think it's worth it. I'm getting a 100 HP bubble, but this really kind of comes down to how much gear you find more than anything else. And then I've got Zealous Inquisition, which basically gives me the Explode. If you want to be a boss decimator, just instantly take no mercy and you're fine. All right, we're going to go ahead and jump to a boss real fast. So same rotation, except we're applying this for exposure. Mark the target, shoot the permafrost. Once you get this proc, shoot the frag, hold down left click. Okay, same thing. And that's the boss fight. And this is again with, I would say, a pretty dated weapon for the character. It's still decent, but you could get way better at this stage. I'm just going to go ahead and reset really fast here. Let's see. Can you do respawn at checkpoints? And I'm just going to show you how the clearing feels. Any minute now. Shirley? Surely. Okay, here we go. I think you could just go backwards and clear, right? Is that a thing? Is that a thing? Yeah, here we go. Where are the mobs at, man? There's no mobs. Alright, I think that pretty much shows enough. Let's go ahead and talk about the character. As a lot of people are obviously going to be low level, so I think it's good to take the showcase here. So, I'm just going to go through my gem links and I'm going to explain stuff. So, right now we have Fragmentation rounds with Elemental Armament 1. I could upgrade to 2, I just need another support. Concentrated Effect, and Deliberation. These are nice global links you can use. There is always the opportunity to use Cold Attunement, but you have to be careful with Cold Attunement because sometimes you get other sources of damage that is fire and lightning based off your weapon, so always pay attention to whether or not Cold Attunement is good for you. In my Permafrost, I'm running Ice Bite 2, Elemental Armament, and Cold Attunement. Freezing Mark is currently just using Prolonged Duration. Also, I want to recommend that you go and look at the Mobalytics guide for the endgame gems. This is just what I've managed in the campaign right now. Herald of Ice with Magnified Area, Elemental Armament, and Cold Attunement. Oil Grenade with Prolonged Duration and Potent Exposure. And then Shard Scavenger with Prolonged Duration. I'd like to add Wind Dancer to this as well, but I just have not gotten a Spirit Gem for it. And then we'd have Wind Dancer. And basically what we do is you would toggle Herald of Ice to only be in weapon 1. And then you could fit in Wind Dancer. So now if you see I right click, I guess I can't show you right now, but Shard Scavenger only needs to be on weapon 2 and Herald can just be on weapon 1. And then you get the best of both worlds, right? So that's a nice thing. Opening up the passive tree, I'll explain when the build starts to feel good. So right away, you're going to start and you're going to come down the passive tree like this. You're going to swing through. You're going to grab all the damage here, plus you get the nice attributes. You're going to come down towards here, break your way through the speed like this. And then once you get rapid reload, the build feels, I would say, playable. From there, what I do is I come over like this. I come into here, grab Emboldened Avatar, follow the tree through, grab Spray and Pray, start moving down. And then once you make it to about here, this is when I respec this part of the tree here. And the reason I respec is 2 reasons. Number 1, you get the reload back in this section. So this is where you get the 30% chance to not expend ammunition and 30% chance for your reload to be immediate. And then you get 15 reload, 15 reload, 15 reload, and you can take 15 reload. What this also does is you can respec up here to get projectile speed. There's not many sources of projectile speed on the tree, and projectile speed is very important for Permafrost to feel good. Permafrost is kind of like a spray attack, so the more projectile speed you get, the less you have to be melee to hit with all of the rounds, if that makes sense. So projectile speed for Permafrost is A++. Very, very, very good. And then from here, you can kind of follow the rest of the guide. I will tell you that weapon swapping is a very important thing with this build, and you don't need to use 2 different weapons. You can simply take one weapon and lock it to both of your sets. This means you only need one weapon throughout the entirety of the character. At super late game min-max, you could craft another crossbow, but we're not going to get into that right now. With weapon 1, you can go ahead and look. Actually, we're on here. Let's go weapon 2. So with weapon 2, is this showing weapon 2 right now? Yeah. Weapon 2, we focus on taking high sources of damage alongside any extra damage nodes we get, or basically we need. And the reason why is weapon 2 is not as demanding as weapon 1. Weapon 2 also, we get to benefit from skill effect duration, which applies to Shard Scavenger and your mark. We can put both of those on weapon 2, which is nice. In weapon 1, how do you highlight weapon 1 again? I forgot there's a way to make it. Oh wait. I just have to switch, right? Let me see. I think I just switch and then it shows it. Okay, and then weapon... Wait, is this not showing weapon 1? Am I drunk? The heck? Wait, my frag round is disabled. GG, fix your game. Okay, here. Now it's showing the alternative. I may have actually reversed these by accident, in which case I'm a dumbass if I did. The other weapon set, which is going to have our Permafrost, focuses on attack speed, reload, reload speed, and projectile speed. That's the main ones. And then you can also take things like immobilization buildup, and you can take intimidation, which is very, very good as well. Intimidation basically is snapshotting bonus damage for your frag rounds. Later on, when you get Rakiatas, you'll notice we go into penetration with our frag rounds, and we don't need to take the penetration with the Permafrost. Anyway, that pretty much should summarize the video. If you want to know more, I highly encourage you to look through the Mobalytics guide, as the Mobalytics guide is packed with information to assist you, and we will work on a build.ini file whenever it is compatible. Anyway, take care. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And you come catch me out at twitch.tv/Pohx. I'll be live like 20 hours on League launch. Take care and see you guys all tomorrow.